What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. What we got going on here, this is another 2012 Bennche Spire 800. JD found me on YouTube actually, and he drove about 4.5 to 5 hours to drop this thing off to have me do, I believe, a top end on this. He bought a complete rebuild kit off of eBay, probably about 650 bucks, something like that. That comes with crank, everything. But on this one here, I think we're just gonna do a top end is what we talked about doing on this. I think he has a top end issue. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and break it all down. We're gonna keep it pretty much real time. So you guys can see a whole tutorial on this thing. People hate it when I do time lapse. People hate it when I actually don't completely fix something because the customer doesn't want me to, because I'm not wasting my time or money myself to fix somebody else's stuff and they don't want it fixed. But also something else we got going on. I do have now, got some shop shirts here. We got Limitless Power Sports on the front. And then over here on the back, you can see the logo on the back, name and shop name, town and phone number on there. So if you guys need something, give me a holler about that. So let's go ahead and jump into this Bennche Spire. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and just do a full video. So this is gonna probably be a long video. We're gonna go ahead and take out the interior. We're probably gonna remove the gas tank out of this thing. We're gonna do a compression test. We're gonna do a leak down test. To see which cylinder we're having issues with. It does crank kind of slowly. He said he was going down the road, and I think it just started knocking, and that was it on that. So we're gonna go ahead and figure out which cylinder went bad. Might throw a bore scope down both of them before we take them apart to kind of get a look at what's going on down there. Also, I'll probably have to record something and show you guys on that. It's not gonna be like I can show you directly on my bore scope. It does record. I have no idea when my GoPro just shut off, but anyways, it does take pictures of that. And I'll show you the video of that when I do look down in the cylinder with my bore scope. And then we're gonna figure out what's going on with this thing. Like I said, he bought the whole entire complete motor rebuild kit because he's got a second one of these that needs a crank. So we're gonna check out the crank of this thing too from the top and make sure it's all good. So first off, let's go ahead and drain the oil on this. And while the oil is draining, I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling out the seats and the center console on this guy. Probably have to pull off the left side plastics here to access a bolt that holds the gas tank in place. We'll get all that crap out of the way, and then we'll start diagnosing what's going on with that motor. All right, so we're underneath here. Got some light for you guys. Right up here is the drain plug. I don't remember if it's a 19 or what size it actually is, 18, 19, or 21. There's a 19. Let's check the 18 out. Yeah, it feels like a 19, so we'll throw a 19 on there. I don't want to get a bunch of dirt into my pan, but there is a whole bunch of dirt on this skid plate, and I just won't be able to get all that off, but we'll be able to check it for any type of debris or anything. So let's see if I can't break it loose here. Holy smokes. Woo, that is ridiculous. That was just absolutely insane. Let me throw a rubber glove on here. Somebody's making sure that thing didn't leak, that is for sure. All right, got the glove on. Let's grab our socket. Again, guys, I am a one-man show in this shop, so things do take a little bit of time. Making an old man grunting sound. All right, let's see. There goes a spring. All that good junk. It'll slowly glob out. Let's find that spring over here. We got that. The oil's definitely black. As far as the screen goes, the screen looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and let this drain out right now, and we'll move back up to the top while this is draining. Pull the seat out, pull the oil cap out, that way it drains a little bit better, so there's no vacuum like it's what's going on, if there's really any oil in the thing. All right, guys, so we got you some light in here. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and slide the seats forward. These here have 2 bolts in there. It's a 6x10 with an 8mm head. We'll yank both the driver and passenger seat out. And I'll go ahead and probably reinstall some of these bolts back into the original holes so I know where they go. And actually taking this one apart is going to help me a little bit on the orange one I still have from like a year ago. Mike's going to come pick that up here sooner than later. But that one's kind of put together for the most part blind. So let's do the passenger one now. I know you guys don't have good angles on everything here, but me trying to move the camera around every time is not ideal for myself to get this done in an efficient manner. There's the other seat. And a lot of stuff I'll just set in the back because I don't think we're gonna need in the back, but we'll see. If we do need to take the bed off, it's quite a few screws, but that's all right. So we got all screws here. So let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and start pulling out the center console now with the screw gun. Those are all Phillips head screws. I'm gonna start down here at the bottom. I'll work my way up. Trying to work with some new mechanics gloves we got with the race team. Are from, what is it, Pro Grip Mechanics gloves. They're a new sponsor, and these are a little small. These are 2X or an XL. No, they think these are 2X and I need a 3X. Do they make a 3X? I personally don't know. That one's down at the bottom. So like I said, I'm not gonna cut away. If I do, I'm basically pausing it to go grab a tool, but I'm gonna keep every step I do in this video. So if you wanna complain it's too long, complain it's too long. I don't wanna hear, oh, well, you know, you didn't show this, you didn't show that. So I'm really trying to help you guys see everything. All right, so you guys can see now we got the cylinder, I think they might call this one cylinder 2 on this one, cylinder 1 in the back, or vice versa. Yeah, cylinder 2 in the front, cylinder 1 there. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the dipstick out. Let me grab some compressed air and actually blow around that because I don't want it to drop any more dirt that could potentially fall down in there. All right, found my air chuck or nozzle. Ooh. Pull out some water down in there, blow some dirt from around the, and of course the air compressor wants to kick on. And there, so let's open up the dipstick, the fill nozzle on this thing. Yeah, I won't have to pull the, actually I don't have to pull the gas tank out of this one. The stator's on the driver's side of the motor, so that's good. But if you look, you can see how kind of dirty that oil is. Pretty dirty. Got an O-ring on there. Drop that there. So the next thing I want to do, as I know I'm draining the oil right now, I want to check it for debris. I'm going to pull the spark plug, and it's all right if we turn this thing over without oil in it. We're not trying to start it or run it, we're just doing a compression check. But I also want to look at the oil, so I'm going to go ahead and take out the spark plugs in cylinder 1 and cylinder 2, and then we'll do a compression check, and I'll probably come down here on the side cover and line it all up to put it at top dead center and do a leak down test to see if it's a piston or if it's valves we're having issues with. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and take out the spark plug on the front cylinder. Wasn't very tight, but that's all good. Finally, the air compressor kicked off. I think my biggest complaint about working on UTVs is having to be bent over. We can see it's not too bad. It's a little dark, but not too bad for one of these things. Let's go ahead to cylinder number 1 in the back here. Again, guys, I don't know what your angle is going to look like the whole time, but when we're in the motor, I'm going to try to get you the best angle I can. Yeah, you guys can kind of see where you're at. You're facing from the front of the unit to the back, if you didn't realize that. Now, you guys saw in the last one I did, we did a head gasket. But this one here, I think we're going to need piston rings. But we'll see what all we need. We're going to blow it all out. That way we don't get anything, drop anything down in the intakes, down in the cylinders. Take it this one. A little fouled out, but nothing horrible. I mean, I've seen a lot worse. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the oil dipstick and fill plug back in. Like I said, I don't know how much. I don't remember if he said he drained it out or not. Let me take a look down here and look. Huh. Yeah, there's really not much in there, just a little bit. Again, like I said, I don't remember if he told me that he did drain it out. So I would say I'm gonna pop this off down here. I'm gonna pop the cover off here and put either a socket or I think it might be a 14mm Allen on that and spin it over and put my bore scope down in here and take a look and see if I can see what's going on with the cylinders before I start cranking them over. So I'm gonna grab that, pop that off, grab the Allen or either that or the socket. I'll let you guys know in a second. And then we'll go ahead and spin this over with the bore scope and I'll try to show you what I see down inside. All right, I'm gonna pop this cover off the side, this plug here. It's a flathead screwdriver, or if you have one of those 3 deals. And then let's see what it is on the inside. So I think it's either a 12 or a 14 Allen. Let me grab that. So I got a 10, let's check that, see if it fits. Might be an 8. Yeah, it might be an 8. So let's throw this on here. Should be, it felt like an 8 anyways. Yeah, feels like it's a little boogered up. All right, so that's in there. Throw a ratchet on there. It's definitely boogered up though, that's for sure. Sorry guys, my daughter walked up. All right, anyways, grab my bore scope. Now I got this, I did buy this off of Amazon. I don't think it's like 135 bucks with a discount. I actually like it, it's actually really nice. It's got a detachable screen on it. Take my gloves off here. Nice little case, detachable screen. Screen comes off, you can power it on. It has no signal right now, but you can go back and review like pictures and stuff. I don't know if you can see that. This is not this motor. This is from a 800cc Suzuki Intruder with a bad exhaust valve broken, but you can go back and review your photos. So it's pretty nice little kit. It works really well. Has an articulating head on it. All you do is turn this little knob here and it articulates, has video, a light, zoom, all types of stuff. So we'll go ahead and slide it on here like this, lock it in place. And then what I can do, I can take it, I can watch this. Let me get out of here real quick. All right, and now this is live, so I don't know if you guys really see that or not, but I can kind of zoom around and look at myself, look back at you guys down at the floor, so I can actually really see a lot of what's going on. So I'm gonna point it down into the cylinder here. So I can tell right now we're pretty much at top dead center. Let me get rid of this box. I'm gonna grab my ratchet. I got water on it. Reach down in here and I'll slowly try to rotate this motor over if I can get a spot to put my hands and get back down to bottom dead center, but this 8's not fitting in there good, so let me see if I can find a socket to fit that. All right, so I don't have a socket that fit this, but this it does fit. It's just kind of beat up on the inside a little bit, so we'll just kind of try to work it back in there to make it fit right. If I can find the hole on it here. Boy, that thing just does, she just does not want to turn at all. So I'll try to bump the key. Top dead. Intake valve opening, which is fine. So I know intake valve is opening right now. I think it's intake valve. It could be the exhaust valve, I'm not sure. So I'll go ahead and slide my borescope down in here. Get it all straightened out, get it out from around everything under the sun. Borescope down in there. So let's take a look around, see what's going on. Now I see some chunks that might just be carbon. So that's exhaust. So that valve looks good. Again, I don't know if you guys can really see that or not. Point back down, loop back around. There's some scoring on the cylinder wall towards the top. So that looks like the intake valves. Again, like I said, this is hard angle to do for you guys. Back down, we'll pull it out slowly. See if we can't take a look over here. You can see a little bit right there at the top, a little bit of wear on the cylinder there. I can see where this thing must have sat at top dead center for a while, where I can see the ring's impression on the cylinder. Let's move back to cylinder 1. I'm going to walk over to the other side, take a look down in there, see what's going on with that one. I don't know how good the view is going to be. Again, I might have to rotate it over with the key, because it does not want to operate very well by trying to turn it over with the stator. It's being a little bit of a booger. Fighting a good fight here. That's straight. All right. Okay, so what it's looking like cylinder number 1 is what's took a crap on us. It is pretty scored up on the inside. I can see where I swear I thought I saw a spot where I could see the oil ring was stuck, kind of got stuck to the wall. Yeah, let's take a picture of that. Yes, so it's going to be cylinder 1. You guys might be able to see where you can see where the pistons are stuck in there. The rings are stuck against the cylinder wall. I'm gonna go down, see if I can't rotate it over to look at the valves. Sometimes I can get a look at the valves. Oh, we might have a broken valve seat. Can't really tell. I'm gonna go ahead and back this out a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and bump it over one more time. There we go, that's down further. Let me rotate it again. You guys can see a little bit going on there. I'm gonna take a picture of that. I can zoom in 8 times. I don't know if it's debris or what it might have been. Let's rotate the other way. Look at the other valves. I mean, it's coming apart anyways, but this gives me an idea what's going on. So, we definitely know it's cylinder 1. I think the easiest access here is going to be to go ahead and take this off. We'll take the center, all the intake stuff off, the shift cable. We'll take the bed off of this thing. We'll take the bed off this thing and get access to that cylinder, and we'll start go ahead and disassembling that. All right, I'm going to lie to you real quick. I'm actually going to go ahead and just do this off camera. Go ahead and I'm just going to take all the plastics off. There are some screws up underneath here you'll have to take out too, up underneath the sides, to get this bed off. I've had a bed off before on the other one. It's not a hard job to do. You just got to take a lot of screws out of this thing. Back here, not so much as these, but there. You got to take the side panel off, the back piece off. There's a little bit of work to it, but to access that number 1 cylinder is going to be a lot easier once we take all this off. I'm not going to show that. It's going to make this video way too long. So once I get all this stuff off, we'll jump back in and we'll see what's going on with that number 1 cylinder. As you guys can see, it looked like it locked up because there's no oil in this. And I'll show you guys a little bit of oil that did come out. So I'm going to take all this off and we'll get back into the video here in a second. All right, guys, we're about, it's roughly 10 minutes, 15 minutes into this thing. So what we did, we took the whole entire back cage off, side panels, center console, the bed, the lights. I'm trying to get a good angle here for you. Gives us really good access. Took off the shifting, you know, that shifting thing that has a shaft in it, and yeah, it's a shift cable. I did put the spark plugs back in. Man, my brain is not working at all. I do want to take this off yet. I forgot to take that off with this bolt here and that bolt there, that screw. And then I'm gonna go ahead and blow the whole entire thing off with air, and then we'll go ahead and start taking apart the we'll get all the intake off of this thing, and then we'll go ahead and take the valve cover off and set this thing at top dead center and give us some access to be able to start stripping this thing down. I think what I'm going to end up doing, I'm going to talk to him and let him know that I want to do both cylinders because I don't like the way the rings look like they stuck in this cylinder also. But again, you guys saw how low it was on oil. Matter of fact, let's grab the oil out of here. I think it's done dripping. But you can see, I don't remember if he said he drained the oil, but that's all the oil I got out of this thing. He may have drained it. I cannot remember. I'm not seeing any silver debris in here. Well, that's good. So I'm going to put the oil plug back on this thing, screen, clean that out real quick. I'll put that on off camera, and then we'll go ahead and start taking apart this after I blow it all off. All right, guys, so I got it all blown off the best I could. Let's check out the air filter real quick to see what it looks like. Fans blowing, air compressor's running again. Yeah, it's not the greatest, but it's not horrible. It has an air cleaner. No dust is flying, so that's a positive. We'll clean that out. Let's just go ahead and slap it back in here for now, and we'll get to clean that out later on. If I can get this thing lined back up right. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and start taking the intake off here. Flathead, well, that's not the proper one, but we pull it off here, pull it off there, here. We'll check the throttle body to make sure that it's not full of mud and dirt, and the IAC motor's not all caked up. That's your idle air control, or you can call it an idle speed controller, but that controls your idle and all that good junk. What did I do with my long Phillips head screwdriver now? Way out here, along with my other light. So let's go ahead and get this off. Long boring part so you guys can watch this. It looks like it's got a crack on the intake already, on the intake boot itself. Let's see. Yep, that's cracked all the way through there. So we'll probably end up having to order another one of these. Or JD can order it himself and slap it on. It's up to him. I don't really mind either way. But it's definitely tore, so it's been sucking a little bit of dirt in there. Yeah, if you look, watch this. That thing's full of dirt. Full of dirt. So we'll have to get a new airbox boot. Let's check the throttle body. Let's get the throttle position sensor out, the IAC motor out, and it's like every other one. It's just completely dirty. So I'll take this thing off and I will clean that. Basically, I'll just take some solvent, not solvent, but brake clean all that out. I'll take the IAC motor out. That way the passages are clear. Make sure those are all clear. The IAC motor is all cleaned up. Pull the throttle cable off and just totally clean this I'm just going to do that off camera. I did that in another video. You guys can check that out. I think I did it on the 500. So next we're going to go ahead and start taking all the connectors off here for the fuel injectors. We got the TPS, engine temperature sensor. Ooh, somebody butt connected something over here. I'm not sure what they butt connected over here in 2 spots actually. That might be, looks like probably for the fuel level sender. If you look, all the wires are chewed up here on that. Need to pull these out, put some heat shrink over those so we don't run into issues down the road with those getting wet causing issues. So I'll have to, yeah, I'll probably just pull the whole entire connector off the fuel pump and run it up this line here. That way we can just pull it all out. What else do we got going on here? Let's see. And this one runs back to, I can't tell if that's reverse or what that is, so let me go ahead and pull those off. Try to get you guys hooked up here with the view again. Let me go ahead and snip the zip ties on the other side. See, I told you, this is just going to be the long, boring stuff. Okay, there's that. Pull this cover off here. Let's see. Yep, fuel pump, fuel level sender. That's what that one was. And then that's your stator. That's gonna be way down in there. I'll have to take these screws out here real quick. Oh, my guns are over here. Gas cap's gonna come off. This way we can get down here. I don't know if you guys can see where my hands are at right now, but over here is where the stator is. So it's an 8mm and a Phillips. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this loose, pull this guy out of the way. That way I'm not battling that. Be easier if I just use my gun, but it's over there on my left. Get this out. Pull that. Now I can get down. I could see where somebody put zip ties around the stator connector because they probably broke one of the tabs for that. All right, let's go ahead and all right, there's the stator. And this guy here is a coil. There we go. Now we got access to everything. Point the coil down, pull that out. For that coil, map sensor, good there. Let's go ahead and pull the fuel injectors out. Those are 5mm Allens. Let's get the fuel injectors out. They do have spacers underneath them. That one was even tight, so watch this. Don't lose the spacers. You got the spacers here. Check the front of that. Doesn't look too bad. Apparently my wife's being chased by wasps. Try to pull this other injector out without losing our spacers or the bolt I just dropped. Oh, it's way down in there. I'll have to grab that here shortly. Pull the other injector out. If I can get it to come out, that thing is in there. There we go. Doesn't look too bad either. We'll shove that off to the side. Disconnect this guy here for the crank position sensor, or the pickup coil on the crank that sends a signal to fire. Everything is just wrapped up. Get the harness out of the way. Way back over here. What's up, Boomer? There is the stator. Now the water pump is down over here. I may drop the lower skid plate to do the water pump, drain the water pump. But we need to take off this tube here and here. Pull that off. That is the intake for the CVT cover. So that's a 10. There's a 10 and a Phillips head. Actually, there's another 10 back here too. So that's the one I was missing on the other unit. So we'll loosen this up, walk around back. I can get my hand in here to get this thing out. What a dumb setup. Just smashing everything. All right, well, let's try to get this other 10 out. So we can take this whole piece off here. That we might be able to, yeah, let's go ahead, and that's behind that. So we have to take these two 12s here and here that hold this bracket on, and then we can get the rest of that out. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in the side of the, well, I can't because that's still there. Crap. Well, let's make sure these are 12s in the first place. That might be 13. China. 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 Well. All right. Well, it looks like we're just gonna go ahead and pull off with a ratchet because nothing wants to fit. Small Chinamans have their hands inside these things, and big America hands don't quite fit that well. So let's see if this actually go back far enough to come off. It was loose anyways. There we go. All right, got that out. Up and all right, there we go. So let's see if I can put this back in here so I don't lose it. Actually, I'll just stick it in here and set this off to the side in the bed. I'm so tired. I want to go to bed. All right, anyways, I'm blabbing on. Blabbing and blabbing. Let's see. Nobody really cares about the vent tube for the crankcase over here, along with the vent tube for the fuel pump. Ow. There's a crankcase vent tube. Fuel pump vent tube. All the good emission stuff. But you gotta have a crankcase vent tube, otherwise this thing will never, ever, ooh, intake looks yuck. But anyways, like I said, it would never ever build too much back pressure in the crankcase pressure. On to the intake itself. If I don't drop my microphone. That was loose. Some stuff isn't very tight at all. These things should be a little bit tighter than that, probably 10 to 12 Newton meters. But pretty much no resistance in those. Pull out these guys. And again, we'll check the map sensor, make sure it's clean. Intake is definitely dirty. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it's definitely dirty. And looking like I'm gonna need to change the battery on my GoPro. But I might be able to drain, need to take the exhaust off and then go ahead. I'm gonna plug these guys up with some paper towels and we'll pull the valve covers off, drain the coolant, then we'll put this one on TDC and we'll get it apart to see what we look like. All right guys, you see I got the coolant draining down there into the pan. Got the intake off this thing, so I'm gonna let the coolant drain out. We'll pull those off, back those out of the way, and then my next step will be to put this thing, I'll take the cover off, but also take the crank sensor out so you can look down there for timing, and we'll try to get this thing turned over to top dead center. It's a really big struggle down in here to get it to work right, but we'll try to make it work. Get this thing on top dead center, pull this off, pull the valve cover off. I'll be able to tell if it's on TDC or not, just by the way the cams are turned and the timing marks on the cam. As you can see, the intake valves are open right now. I'm a little concerned about the valves in these things, but we'll see what happens. So we'll finish letting that coolant drain. Looks like it already pretty much did, which is kind of a scary situation. I'll pull these two bleeder valves out real quick to make sure it keeps bleeding out, and then we'll get to popping this cylinder. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take out the bolt for the crank sensor. I'm gonna set it off to the side separate because it's a little shorty. We'll go ahead and loosen up the hoses for, actually I could probably just take, yeah, we'll just do the hoses because I don't want to disassemble that because I'm not sure if those had a gasket in it. Well, he's got a whole entire rebuild kit, but I'll just go ahead and take the hoses off, pull those off, slide it back out of the way, take the valve cover off and turn this thing over to top dead center. So let's get those coolant hoses off if I can find any of my tools anymore. Just putting the radiator cap back on real quick, because like I said, I want to do both cylinders on this thing. I may plug a couple things off first and blow on this again with the compressed air, because I don't like how much debris I'm seeing behind all these hoses, and I would hate for that to get down the bottom end and cause future problems. I would rather pressure wash this thing before I started, but I don't have water hooked up to the shop yet. My goodness gracious. If I can get an angle here. Of course not. Why wouldn't you put that at an angle you could get to? That'd be silly if you did. Let me grab a different screwdriver. Maybe I can get to it. I mean, could you imagine if you put that thing at an angle you could actually get to it at? That'd be weird. I mean, it's good to have it out of the way of stuff so it doesn't get broken, but man, what a nightmare. All right, so that one's done. That one's done. Let's see. They come off. Hey, we got a little more coolant coming out now. We got some air going into the line. Like I said, I should have just took those. Let me just go ahead and pull one of those out. Since it's going down. Or not. It's pretty impressive. I tied those off for little 6 mil bleeders. Golly jeez, man. These have to be loosened anyway, so when I do put it back together and we bleed the system, we don't run into any issues. All right, so apparently we might be stopped on the coolant. She ain't leaking down there now. Let's see if anything comes out when we pull these off. Nothing there. Yeah, nothing there. But we do have the connector for the coolant temperature sensor still connected to that. Got a little bit out of it again. All right, we'll slide these bad boys back in. Let's grab, looks like a 6. We'll pull the valve cover off of that. That might actually be a 5. Nope, 6. Dropping. All right. Whoop. One of the metal pieces from the top. I did drop the skid plate on the bottom. I don't know if you guys could see that or not, but I did drop the skid plate down to give myself ease of access for the to drain the coolant. All right, and we know we got a new valve cover gasket, head gasket. We got all the gaskets for this thing. Let's see if I can't, I really don't want to turn it by that, but I cannot get in there with anything because it's all boogered up. Maybe it's a 15 or a 16. We'll check do I have a 17 here? 18, 17. Yeah, it's like a 15 millimeter. The silly Chinese sizes. So let's grab a 15 and a 16. Almost got my whole rack of sockets over here. But like I said, we'll see if we need to turn it over by this. We may not. All right, there's the 16 millimeter. And we'll try to turn this over slowly, but let's go ahead and take the spark plugs back out so we're not getting any resistance or a little bit of compression. I'm just trying to save us from pulling the bottom end of this thing apart. It's tough to get down in here. I just want to put it on TDC and then we'll go ahead and work on getting the exhaust off this thing. What did I do? Oh, looking for the socket and it's right here. All right, so, okay, so it is gonna turn. Okay, that's good. I wasn't sure if it's gonna turn over or not because it's being jammed up. I'm gonna try, this should be top dead center compression stroke. You guys can see the two lines parallel with the head. We'll check clearances. Intake valves are awful tight. Exhaust, they do have a little bit of play. Intake, tight. We'll pull this out to double check on the timing mark. Throw it here on my cart. And do I have a light handy? I do. I know I'm flinging you guys around, but welcome to life. And I'm not seeing the timing mark on there, but I am timed up top right here. So let me go ahead and mess with that a little bit. Let me see if I can't get that timed perfectly. It's a little bit off. It's not horrible. I think I'm just a little, whoop, just a smidge. Double check down in here again. I may turn it 360 degrees, rotate it again, 360 degrees. Let's just go ahead and do that. Exhaust stroke, intake, and we're coming up on compression now. So again, right back to where we were. Top dead center, still nothing there, got play there. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take the timing chain tensioner out of this thing. We'll pull the cam off of this. That way we can drop it down after we take timing chain tensioner off. I'm gonna try to figure out how to get you guys a better angle on that. Not really sure just yet. And then we'll go ahead and pull the head off, take a look at the head, pull the cylinder off, take a look at the cylinder, and then we'll take a look at the piston and we'll check the rod at the bottom. So let's go ahead and grab an 8. If I can keep up with, once again, where I put all my stuff at. Okay, you guys see that bounce a little bit. All right, there's that. We'll set this off to the side. Now we'll have to try to get this guy off. There we go. See, it was on there nice and tight. When we put that back together, we'll put some probably red Loctite on that. Again, that's a 16 millimeter socket to turn that. Let me find you guys a better view here. I might be able to get you in here on my tripod, like right around here. So let me put you back on the tripod so you guys got a better view of what's going on. All right, let's try this angle. The tripod could fall over. It's kind of leaning on the tire. We'll grab the cam, pull the cam chain off, and I'm gonna let that sit there. Again, you guys can see the timing marks here, there and there. They line up parallel with the head, and that lines up here with the cam. So next, we're gonna go ahead and break these. I believe these are 12s, these two loose, and then these two. We're gonna go a quarter turn each to start off with. Again, you can see there's no play there, and there is play here, so we know the intake valves are a little tight. I'll have to double check the clearances on that in the manual here in a moment. But let's go ahead and grab the, I believe that's a 12. Yep, 12, and my ratchet. Turn off the light. That's pretty loose. I think it's only 38 Newton meters for the head bolts, but these are, I mean, here you go. Okay, that one was actually halfway tight, so, but these other ones, not very tight at all. 38 newton meters should be way more than that. So we got those out. Let's go. Oh man, you know what? I completely forgot to take the exhaust off. Let's get the exhaust off right now, because it's not gonna do us any good to get the head off this thing, or all that stuff off, if I can't even get the exhaust off. So I think those might be a 12 or a 13. Let me grab a wrench. I got a 12 over there already. Grab a ratcheting wrench. I think those are 13s, but I could be wrong. Yeah, 13. All right, cool. There's that one. Try to get in here to this one. Gonna have to use the open end. The good part is they may be rusty, but they're not very tight, which is good. Oh, I'll knock you guys for a loop here. Goodness gracious. This is why I don't like working on UTVs. Get rode hard, put away wet. All right, see if I can't get that. Probably could take the air cleaner out of the way. Oh, come on. You get a half a turn and it sticks again. Get a half a turn, sticks again. Come on, baby. All right, guys, I just cut you short there. I was fighting that exhaust really bad, so finally got it all loose, taken apart. Let's take these head bolts out now, the rest of the way, before I lose my mind. I got you at the back of the UTV, facing in. Just trying different angles. Not sure what's going to work best for you. These do have washers on them. Remember that. Too long, too short. Two oily ones go on the inside, which would be the two long ones. Two short ones go on the, when I say the inside, two long ones on the inside. Two dirty ones, short ones go on the outside. Let's try to rock this thing a little bit. I'm gonna have to probably tap that with a hammer, because, oh, I got the 2 5s in here also. Man, I tell you, I'm losing my mind. Those should have been the first two I actually loosened up. That way it took the pressure off of them. My brain not functioning. Yeah, I figured as much. Let me grab a ratchet. There's one. And the other one. Go ahead and back them all the way out now. Those should have been the first ones we actually did. We don't want to keep the, you really don't want to keep the weight or the pressure on the smaller bolts. When you put together They're the last ones you do, but when you take it apart, they're the first ones you do. That way the bigger bolts are holding all the pressure. So now we got those two out. Now the head probably will come out pretty easy, I'm hoping, but again, I think it got overheated. And you can see those pistons, the piston was kind of stuck too. Oop, head came right off, that's good. Well, we got a little bit of weirdness there. Not sure. Just a lot of carbon and stuff on this thing. So we're gonna go ahead and pull the cylinder off now and kind of look down in there and see what's going on with the piston and cylinder. It dripped oil all over the exhaust. Get this guy out, check it. Doesn't look bad for wear, looks pretty good actually. See if we can't get the cylinder off. I might have to get a hammer to get it off. Nope, it's actually really nice and loose too. That's crazy how loose these things are. Ooh-wee. But you look in the cylinder, you can see the score marks where there's rust in there, like the thing had set with a little bit of water in it or something, so there's rust in there, and that just kind of caused some issues. We'll try to wipe it out here a little bit, but definitely see where the rings were sitting on here, causing a little bit of issues there. All stuck there, rings are all stuck. So that's cylinder one. Let's take a look at the piston. Yeah, piston's all scored up. You see the piston is all scored up. The rings don't look bad, but they're a little rusty. You can see where they stuck, but the piston's scored up here and over here on the backside towards the exhaust. We'll pop it out and then we'll go ahead and check the rod. So I'm gonna grab a circlip, pop the piston off, and then we'll check the rod out. So I'm gonna stuff a rag down in the cylinder so we don't lose a circlip down there. I'd really hate to do that. If I can get a rag in there, I may not be able to, man. These things doesn't go very high when it's on top dead center. Well, I don't know about that rod though. That could just be the wrist pin, but I don't know. This whole motor may have to come out and be redone because that rod does not feel like it wants to move very well. All right, I'm gonna go over here. I know, bad angle for you guys, but I'm just pulling the circlip out. I can get my pick underneath it to get it to go. Come on, baby. There we go. Circlip, got it out. Let's see if I can push the wrist pin out. That's the big question. I think a 10 millimeter socket will fit in there to push it out. I don't know if I have it in my pocket. I don't know where it's at right now. Right in front of me. But I may not be able to get down in there to do that because of everything in the way here. Whew. That's gonna be a crank. All right, well, you can see what's going on here. That rod is seized up on the crank. Let's get you guys a better angle. This whole motor is gonna have to be taken out. But again, if you look, this rod should have just fell right down. It's not, it's stuck. So that's definitely a rod bearings and probably a crank. The good thing we have a whole kit for it. So the next part, we're gonna go ahead and pull off the front cylinder and see what's going on with that, see if that rod is any good either. That's why it was so hard to turn over. I figured it's probably gonna be something major like that. So sucks, the whole motor's gonna have to come out of this thing. That would mean the gas tank comes out, the clutch has gotta come off, and then yeah, it's a lot of work to get it out of one of these. So, yep, we'll pull the front cylinder off anyways before we go ahead and pull the motor, and we'll see how that rod looks. It doesn't really matter. We're going to replace the crank and rods most likely anyways, but let's see what it looks like. All right, guys, so we saw the piston, saw the cylinder. I moved you to the front. We're going to go ahead and take the front cylinder out. Same process, same scenario. We'll just go ahead and pull the valve cover off. I do have it all separated on my cart over here behind me. So there's that. You know, like I said, that tells us an inclination of why it was so hard to spin over to TDC, because the rod was locked. So yeah, we need a 16. Where did I throw my 16 at? We walk over here to the other side. I'm going to turn it again by the cam sprocket bolt. Not proud to say I'm doing that, but that's what I'm doing it by. So we'll find the intake. That's okay, that's good. Intake stroke coming up. I'm gonna go through the exhaust. Make sure I get that rod back out because it's gonna hit the inside of the crankcase. Man. Come on, there we go. Get to the intake stroke again. Oh, I think I'm running into the cam chain tensioner. Cam chain, wrap it up down below. I forgot to hold it up. Grab a magnet, pull it out real quick. It's right there at my fingers. There we go. I need to hold that while I turn this thing over too. All right, brain, let's get this all straight and calculate it again. All right. Intake. Here in a second, we'll be back on TDC, intake stroke. There's intake. Man, I cannot, that rod is so froze up on that thing. It's so hard to move. Exhaust, I'm gonna watch the cam chain again. Lift it back out. But that rod is so froze on that crank, it's so hard to move. It's not rolling how it's supposed to. Clink. We're almost there where I want to be. Did I surpass? Nope, not yet. All right, there's TDC. Again, intakes are tight. So we'll start off by taking the timing chain tensioner out. Those are 8s. That's not timing. Brain is not functioning. Timing chain tensioner is in the front of this one. Man, I'm telling you, I'm losing my mind, guys. I'm losing my mind. Let me grab a 1/4" drive 8. Let's see how tight these were. That wasn't bad there. Not too bad there. This one's they were actually kind of tight. That's kind of nice. That rear cylinder wasn't very tight. Let's gather up some tools and we'll remember, there are washers on here again. Losing a little bit of coolant out of the head. All right, let's see what this head looks like. Looks better than the rear. Still a little bit carbon buildup on it. Timing chain slider looks pretty good, not beat up. But let's see if this cylinder comes off like the other one. Oh, it popped. I didn't expect it to do that. Oh, that one slid right off. Oh yeah, that one's beat the tar too, so that's all scarred up. Way worse than what I thought it was going to be. Check the piston. Piston's all done, rod's done too. You can see the rod barely, it doesn't want to hardly move. Let's take the circlip out and take a look at the piston closer. Right now I already know we gotta take the motor out, put a crank in it, new main bearings, or plain bearings, whatever you want to say it. New main and plain bearings, rod bearings, rods. Piston, rings, cylinders, heads I think we're good on. Circlip out. Where'd that 10 go? Where'd that culprit 10 go? Anyways, I might be able to push it out with my finger, we'll see. Maybe. Woo. She's stuck in there pretty good. Found the 10. Yep, that went all the way through and out. That's good. Again, you can see exhaust sides with the arrow. Not too bad. Intake side doesn't look too bad, but those rings, that oil ring is stuck on the exhaust side, so that's crap. So the rings are stuck on that one. You guys can see again on this one, the rod. And I'm looking in the bottom. It doesn't look too ugly down there. But let's see. I mean, it's got the clutches in there and stuff also. But so my next project's gonna be, which I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna pull probably the motor off. I gotta pull the fuel tank out now, pull the clutches off. I gotta pull oil lines off this thing. The clutches come out again, like I said. The mounts for the transmission, I think the transmission's got to come out with it, and the rear end's got to be moved to get the transmission, or to get the motor out, and this, of course, disconnect the front drive shaft on this. So I'm gonna call that end of part one. It may be long, it may be short. There's a lot of rambling on and crap like that. So you guys saw that. Basically, we just took the borescope. We were gonna do a compression leak down test, but there was no point. Once I stuck the borescope down there and I saw the rings are stuck to the cylinder walls and how bad everything was, there was no point in doing that. Get my head out from underneath this thing. So yeah, I'm gonna call this end of part one. You guys saw the cylinders are messed up, pistons are messed up. It's gonna need a crank. We got a whole entire kit over here. I'll probably go through that on part two to show you what we have for that. But I'm gonna pull this thing out off camera. No point in you guys watching that. It's just gonna be a long nonsense video for you guys. This one's probably gonna be long nonsense for you too. Be like, well, you got the top end apart. We know what's wrong with it, but we are gonna fix it. New crank, new main bearings, new rods, new rod bearings, new pistons, new rings, new cylinders. We'll clean the heads up. We'll reinstall this thing. We will set timing on it. We will do valve clearances, new oil, new coolant, and we'll fire this thing up. So it's probably gonna be a 3 or 4 part series. Again, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you tuning in. If you got any questions about motorcycles, ATVs, or UTVs, drop a comment down below. Find me on TikTok at Limitless Power Sports Sir and Rep. Find me on Facebook at Limitless Power Sports Service and Repair. Right here on YouTube. If you got any questions, you can hit me up at limitlesspowersports78@gmail.com. And again, guys, I do have shirts in stock. That's the front. You guys might have saw the back at the beginning. Let me know what you guys think. $30 shipped to you. Just kind of help the channel out a little bit, help me out. You know, of course, again, I don't make a lot of money from this at all. All my money comes into me through the shop. YouTube is just something I'm trying to do to help you guys out there. Again, I appreciate it. If you don't like the video, thumbs down. You like it, thumbs up. Drop a comment, let me know, and I'll catch you guys on my next upload.